Hi, everybody. Welcome to The New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is Happy Hour. It's Friday, so I hope everyone is wearing red. Wear red for everyone deployed, RED. So we want to say thank you to all of our servicemen and women that are away from their families, and thank you to their families during these holiday times. I think that is another sacrifice that those families and our servicemen and women make. And so we want to honor them by wearing red on Fridays to remember everyone deployed. So you guys join us, grab a red cup, put some red lipstick on, put a red shirt on, grab a red bandana, join us for happy hour, and let's see what's going on. FIFA, guys. I think something's going to be revealed. Right after this, we'll see my buddy Clint Westwood.
Yo.
Welcome. You're absolutely right. It is Black Friday happy hour.
Yes.
It's a red and black Friday happy hour. Pretty significant day.
It is. Somebody was born today. It was his birthday, isn't it?
Happy birthday, JFK Jr. Happy birthday, John. We love you.
Happy birthday,
wherever
JFK.
you are. It's also, I went through the whole today's National Day of
National Day of shutting the pluck up.
No,
No,
it's not that. It's hold on, I'll share the. There's all kinds of stuff going on though. There's I don't know. Should we do the National Days of really quick?
Do it.
Roll through.
Tag some people, yeah.
Let me see. There's so much news. Oh my gosh.
Good. I'm glad you're keeping up on it because I didn't.
Oh Lord, am I keeping up on it? I'm so excited.
You just ask me for comments. It'll be like, bing, like 60 seconds. Westwood, what do you think? You got 60 seconds. Then cut me off.
Yeah, no, there's so much stuff going on. Oh, am I going to be able to share this? Because my computer got all messed up. I can't text myself now.
Huh?
We are so dependent on our
don't want anybody
today.com. Hold on.
When I think about you, I text myself.
Well, thank God you
mixing it up.
That up. Nationaltoday.com. Yes, this is so awesome. Today, the comms on this were making me so happy. Even the dude, one of these dudes, his t-shirt or his jersey had a 17 on it. Like, it just couldn't have gotten any better.
Bruh.
Bruh. Okay, so today is Black Friday, 2022, November 25th. Today, the U.S. and England played each other. They tied, which I don't know the significance of that, but I'm sure it's something. It's also the campaign to end violence against women. Let's see. It's Buy Nothing Day. Let me see.
Buy nothing, like B-U-Y nothing, or buy nothing, next to nothing.
Oh, it isn't laid out as good as on the phone.
Of course not.
Darn it. Hold on. Okay, Black Friday, history-related importance. Do they have all the list of things? Oh gosh, they had this really cool list. Oh, here. Okay, 18-day campaign to end violence against women. Remember that that ties into something a little bit later. Hold on. Then it's Black Friday 2022, Blase Day, which is means it's a strange holiday that allows people to let them feel displeased with things they find unimpressive.
Oh, so disgusted with the air. Ugh, I hate it.
It's
oxygen. I hate it. Ugh.
It's not surprising that the French have a word for this state of being, since they must be displeased with most things.
Yep.
Trudeau would be my blasé, finding unimpressive. Anyway, so what do you find blasé, Westwood? What would you find blasé?
Me, unimpressive.
Mm-hmm.
Talking heads that go on CNBC and don't talk about Litecoin.
Like Mark Moss.
Oh, well, I'm not going to get into Mark Moss, but
well, I don't even know who he is.
He did put. I met Mark Moss in 2019 at the same day I met Alex Mashinsky.
Oh,
but no, it was at that was it Coinvention? I think it was called in Cincinnati, Ohio.
We were in. Oh, I thought that was in Philadelphia. Coinvention.
No, this one it was CoinWise. CoinWise is what it was. Yeah, and then Coinvention. Okay. I think. Yeah, you're right. No, he put out a couple of videos. He's on point with most of his stuff. It's just he leans to the Bitcoin side and kind of leaves out, things like Litecoin. I don't think he likes Litecoin because he was talking about we may not have another crypto bull run. And he's probably might be very right because a lot of these things might now become securities because of the whole FTX debacle, problem, reaction, solution thing. So the government can come in and say, oh, you're all securities now. And, his premise is that Bitcoin's not a security. And, he mentioned Raven coin. He's like, there's maybe another coin, maybe another chain that might not be a security, Raven coin. And then
why would you say Raven coin, but Bitcoin and Raven coin, but not Litecoin?
Why not? See, that's the thing. See, this is the guilt by omission thing is what I have a problem with. Not talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, why don't you talk about it? Because it's like the major threat to Bitcoin. I mean, honestly, let's talk about it because it does everything that Bitcoin does. There's only 4 times as many. It is completely decentralized. It has been running for over 11 years. It does everything Bitcoin does and has security, or I should say privacy. It has security too because of the network. It's got Dogecoin that it's merge mined with, so you never have that problem of where, hey, we mined out all the Bitcoin. What do we do now? How do we make money? Because we're not getting any more Bitcoin in transaction blocks. Well, with Litecoin, you don't have that issue. Mine out all the Litecoin, you're still mining Dogecoin, so you're still getting paid in coins and transaction fees. So, I mean, it's just got a lot better qualities than Bitcoin. It's an improvement over Bitcoin. Litecoin is what I'm talking about. So a lot of the people that are heavily invested in Bitcoin want to ignore it. So if it's a threat, you just ignore it. But the tide's turning because you're seeing big players starting to talk about Litecoin. You've got BitBoy coming out on his video. Well, Litecoin might do pretty well in the next 6 months, given what's coming down the pipeline. And you got Michael Saylor talking about it. You've got
considering that they were not involved. So the 2 coins in this whole FTX thing, there was no Bitcoin and there was no Litecoin involved in FTX. And I was talking in a meeting and Reggie Middleton was there. And I was like, hey, by the way, because everybody was doing the FTX talk. This was last week before I got sick and all that. And Reggie's like, well, yeah, because you can't make a derivative of Bitcoin like you can all these other coins. And that's basically what they were doing. Reggie did a great video with he's doing like a Thanksgiving dinner or some kind of family. He's got a bunch of his kids at the table and stuff. He used to do a lot of, he's very involved in his children's education. And so he's like, now a lot of them are adults, but he even has some little ones still. And he was explaining how Coinbase was using DAI or MakerDAO. I'm sorry, USDC.
Okay.
And he turned the US dollars from, is it 1.6 billion to 3.2, or was it million? I'll have to go back.
At this point, what difference does it make?
What difference does it make? It's all just printed into oblivion. But it was very interesting. And he was explaining derivatives, basically, how they just went and printed another one. And then he said, but wait, what happens when both people hold those USDCs and this person says, I want my US dollar back. I want my 100 US dollars back. What happens if both of them come at the same time and want their US dollars back? And originally, if you go to the Bitcoin white paper, the double spend
was the issue.
Was the issue that Bitcoin
they had to solve digitally. They had to solve that issue.
And so, yeah,
Byzantine general thing. You're talking to one person, the other person.
Exchanges coming in, these centralized exchanges coming in, and just recreating legacy finance. And in a digital form, which it's already kind of a digital
I
form.
won't get fooled again.
Yeah, it's like meet the new boss, same as the old boss, and people are falling for it. That's not cryptocurrency. That's not Bitcoin. That's not Litecoin. That's not proof of work. So that's yeah, I'm with you. So you're you're not very blasé about that, though. You're pretty
I'm not
passionate
blasé about it. I got a little passion about it. It's like I'd be like, I could say the same about Kevin O'Leary. I'm really not blasé about him because I didn't say F you, Kevin O'Leary, in one of my videos.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know. I got a little hot and heavy. And this was before everybody else came out. It was like a couple days before last week. Now, what am I blasé about? I don't know. I'm just so sick of
blasé all day.
I'm just so sick of
rosé all day.
I don't know. Rosé, isn't that wine? I drink wine all day. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not blasé about anything. That's my problem. I'm just too passionate.
Okay. So there's also Buy Nothing Day is also today. I would be the winner today for that.
I didn't buy anything today either. I don't think I bought a thing.
Today's also a day of listening. I can say that I did that today. Also, if this was a checklist, I'm batting pretty good on this.
Hashtag winning.
Flossing day. How many of you flossed today? I didn't.
Isn't that how you do it? You do the floss dance? My daughter tries to teach me how to floss dance, and I can't do it.
Then my hygienist wouldn't be mad at me.
Yeah, I floss every night after I drink like 4 Tito's. Always flossing.
I'm always flossing. Here is where, so the 18-day campaign to end violence against women. This is pretty significant. And I think this is a big deal and significant that it's today. Black Friday, Blase Day. Wait, all the holidays in November. Hold on. Why is it? There's many more. Hold on. Why are they? Oh, it's also Corn Day, Maize Day.
Maize Day.
Well, is it time to harvest the corn? National Day of Bosnia and
in celebration of Corn Day. An actual live, dead corn now, husk came out of the field. Some of you might recognize this ear of corn. You know who I'm talking about.
You know who you are.
You know who you are out there in that chat. I've seen you. I've seen you in here.
Day after Thanksgiving, rich in vitamins, antioxidants, yellow gift of nature, worth much more. Maize is beneficial that it has a day carved out every year just to celebrate it. Corinne Lightweaver started the holiday, and we found it beneficial to observe it. Did you know that yellow isn't the only maize color? Its other rare colors are white, pink, red, blue, and black. Spotted, striped, and multicolored. Anyway.
Yeah, we actually popped some popcorn tonight in the popcorn machine that I finally got out here in the bar. I should have had out here 2 years ago, and I didn't. So we popped some in there, and it's actually blue corn kernels, blue popcorn.
Oh, cool.
What we have here today.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So this is
it's amazing.
It is amazing. Traced back to 1500 BC in southern Mexico. Early Mexican farmers domesticated a wild grass by picking the best and biggest kernels. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So talking about went down the coast of Peru, moving across the north until it eventually reached Native Americans. More Native American stuff to come, guys. This is all has to do with America, and Native Americans today is a big day.
Corn country, baby. Hey, I just want to say something. I'm watching the chat. I'm sorry, Mark Weems had to put his Labrador down, 12 years old. Horrible. That's like the worst thing I've ever had to do. I hate it. It's just, it's the worst. So love to you, brother. Yeah. It's not an easy time, and give it some time and then get another dog. That's what I did. But you got to give it some time.
We just started looking for, it's been a year. Actually, Thanksgiving was when Roxy passed, just after Thanksgiving last year. And we just started looking.
Yeah, it was. We got ours in March, and no, wait, they were born in February, March. We got ours in what, like June, May.
Guys, you did the smart thing to get.
We waited like 6-7 months.
Spring, summer.
Yes, because I'll tell you what.
Not puppies trying to train them
in the winter when it's snowing out.
It's a bad idea.
No, get them when it's warm and you can
I know.
Definitely.
I really
So wait
know.
till spring.
Probably should look into this more, but Day of Bosnia, Herzegovina, there's a lot of these I don't want to hit. So Play with Dad Day, National Parfait Day, Native American Heritage Day, significant. Want to highlight that. My husband is Native American.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like, oh, this is every day. I thought you were just going through like one day. I'm not paying attention.
No. This is just today. This is
who's naming all these things? I mean, it's national.
Just today.
All right.
This is what I'm telling you about. Today is a significant day. And I've been seeing Black Friday promoted tweets like crazy. And I'm like, some crap is going down today because in multiple ways.
Hey, we could have a perfect storm come December, like the first, second week in December, because first of all, if this railroad union thing doesn't go through, think about what's going to happen. All the coal travels on rails. Most of the electricity in the U.S. is powered by coal. What's going to happen and see, here's the thing. I was watching some of the CEOs of these big companies, and they said, we are in a matter of days planning for it to shut down. So they're pulling back supplies in the anticipation that, hey, the contract might not go through, because it's like a big picture thing. They got to make moves logistically before it happens so that they don't have resources sitting on tracks. And so they're pulling back resources now, even though the contract hasn't been yay or nay. So, I mean, you're going to see a pinch in the supply chain just because of that, because they're preparing if it does happen. I think
they timed all of this because they know that most people usually typically, so the government closes out their books at the end of October or whatever. Most companies kind of close everything out around Thanksgiving, and then everybody's kind of just kind of blase working their business in December-ish. The kids are home. Everybody's kind of seeing friends and family, and that I think that's when the country, or a lot of the countries are, that's when it's a time for family and home and all that kind of stuff. So it is the
watching
least
TV
amount
more,
of
paying attention to the news more.
Collateral damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's possible. It just depends. I mean,
it's a very convenient time.
Yeah, and I think once again, you've got a lot of things kind of coming to a head at once. Well, the election, well, I shouldn't say that. The Supreme Court case that they could rule on at any point, given the elections that occurred. Possibly removing people or taking them from power. I don't know. Go watch Snippy's video on that for more details. That could happen. You've got Cliff's data showing that there's a big moment coming in December, like toward the beginning, I think, second week in December-ish.
13th or
something FTX style-ish that really is worse. And maybe it's blowout from the FTX thing to where it's all revealed. It's like, holy crap, this was really going on just from them. Okay, what about the 100 agencies that, or shell companies that were formed that are still doing it? I mean, so a lot of that could get intertwined in this whole thing. If you've got something like the railroad, problem shutting down and, hey, we're striking, I don't know that's going to happen. I mean, you still got I read today in Zero Hedge, there's 25 days of diesel left. Well, I heard that a month ago, so it's like, I don't know that
it's a rolling thing. So it's like there's 25 days left, still, and then tomorrow there's 25 days.
Right.
It's a rolling.
If something were to stop, though,
then
you only got 25 days.
25 days.
That's it. Yeah. So I don't know. There's just things are so mismanaged right now. No more refineries are going to be built. I've seen that from CEOs, executives of oil companies, gas companies, whatever. They will not build any more refineries. They're not going to do it. And the Northeast had some shutdown, I think, during the whole pandemic because, for whatever reason, just another excuse. One of them blew up. One of them got burned down, sabotaged probably. But you see what's happened. They're taking that stuff offline, creating artificial scarcity, and going back to this whole agenda that all these vampires had in the beginning. Just go watch their old videos, go watch, Billy Microsoft Bill, and you'll see what they had planned. The world is running out of resources. We've got too many people. They've been saying this since the 70s. We've got too many people and not enough resources. Well, they're going to make it happen. They're going to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy and say, see, we told you so. Look, we're out of gas. We're out of this. We're out of that. We need to go down this path. We need efficient money called the CBDC. We need green energy. And see, they're just going to lead you right down that path. and they're going to create the circumstances that make you think, deceive you, that it's really happening that way when it isn't.
Right. Yes. So today's also your welcome giving day. The app on the phone is so much better with the list. It is because they don't even have they don't have JFK's birthday on here.
What's wrong with them?
Oh, then you have to switch over to birthdays. Sorry.
National Sheep Going in a Circle Day.
Okay, then
that's every day in the U.S.
They had Joe DiMaggio's birthday. This Jalen guy, he's number 17 on his turquoise team. And you guys saw earlier about the Iroquois, which is the same thing as the eagle on the Native American shield, which is so it's all tied in together. Garland, I don't know who. Amy Grant, we know who that is. I was surprised to see Jenna Bush Hager's on there. Andrew Carnegie's birthday is today. Ooh. JFK Jr. Happy birthday, John. And there's Sweet Caroline.
11:25.
Right behind him.
Oh, this okay. I was about to break out into some Neil Diamond. Sorry,
nope,
I got to pay attention to what's going on here.
Christina Applegate.
I'll tell you what, that's someone who is just, I mean, it's a very sad situation. I mean, just pitiful. I mean, what's become of her? I mean, just completely deteriorated.
Applegate?
Yeah. Have you seen her lately?
No.
Oh, God. I mean, she's just suffering from, I don't know, all kinds of problems.
Really? That's
sad. I mean, she's just in really bad shape. Doesn't look good at all.
Very sad. Mm-hmm. There was another one on here that I saw.
Kelly Bundy.
Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie's birthday.
Carnegie Steel.
One of America's most celebrated industrialists, and with good reason. Carnegie grew up in abject poverty and worked incredibly hard to support himself. His family gradually moved from working textile factories to entering the world of railroad development. Well, there you go, Westwood.
Ride the rails.
And steel production. After a series of strategic and profitable investments in the two industries, Carnegie accrued enough capital to establish several of his own companies that were integral in the industrialization of America. Despite his unfathomable fortune, God, that's hard to say, he was incredibly philanthropic and donated almost all of his riches to causes dear to his heart.
Now stop right there. No. The government should have been around to take that money and redistribute it properly, rather than him actually going out and founding all kinds of charitable organizations.
And then Maxine Waters could blow him a kiss at the...
There you go.
In Congress.
Let them control his money.
Thank you for the donation, Andrew Carnegie. It's like she was blowing Sam... Freed kisses.
I don't know any those two concepts in one statement.
You don't want a kiss from Maxine Waters?
It's just a grotesque comedy of errors. I can't. It's just theater of the grotesque. That's what we're dealing with now.
She's just horrible.
It is. The whole thing. It's just.
She is.
Walking corpse. They are like Walking Dead up there. I mean, Pelosi just disappeared. I mean, do we hear anything from her anymore? It was just kind of like...
Not since her husband got hammered.
Yeah, I mean, and play on words maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I hear you. It just kind of, that's an interesting thing to look at. I mean, how she was all vocal and, we're going to do this and that and blah, 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 and then all of a sudden silence.
Then she said, I'm not going to run for Speaker of the House.
I guess I'm just going to go away now.
That's like, I don't know, me saying like,
I'm not going to make any more videos. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about freedom.
It would be like me saying, gosh, what would be the opposite of that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Burnt popcorn's looking good though.
Something you're not going to do that you wouldn't, everyone knows I'm
gonna go pour me some Jack and Coke right now.
I'm not gonna jump off tall buildings anymore.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop drinking Tito's.
I've decided I'm going to continue drinking Tito's.
Yeah, so I think I will continue drinking Tito's.
Yeah. Like, okay, Captain Obvious. Yeah, that wasn't your decision. Like
Captain Obvious in the house. Yeah, I know. That's the sense that I got though from it, was that she was like, it was almost like, I don't get all conspiratorial, but it's almost like somebody said, time to sit down and go away. Get on this plane and go somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Changes in latitude.
Well, I heard she was
in attitude.
She was on her way out of the country. Trump did his, I can't remember which rally he was at, and he said she's on a plane out of the country. And there were a couple planes to the spa that night on Monkey Works.
There you go. You never know.
Who knows?
Charlie G, what do you mean I need more Westwood videos? I mean, dude, I make a video like every day. Aren't you sick of me by now? Seriously. I made one in the car today. It's a little late. You probably didn't see it. I posted it right before the show. But yeah, I make too many videos, I think, sometimes. Say the same thing over and over. Look into Litecoin. Trust yourself. Vampire Casino.
Look at it right now. What, it's up 16% or something in the last.
Yeah, it went up like $83 the other night. It wicked up, and everybody's like in a frenzy, like, when's it gonna stop? And it's just, but yeah, it's like $74 right now. Last week, what was it? I mean, 60? I don't know. And it doesn't matter, because it comes down to this. When everything's falling apart and you've got vampire casinos like FTX stealing everybody's crypto and then not holding it and just going, probably scamming it off somewhere, and then, just creating fake tokens and taking your money so that you can trade it, and then you try and withdraw it and it's like, wait a minute, it's not there. They take all this money and they do all these philanthropic things, like be the second biggest donor to the Democratic Party and vote, and Republicans too.
Democrat Party.
Yeah, the Krats.
They're not the Democratic.
Democratic,
Democratic,
whatever. Republicans and the Democratic heads. Yeah. I don't know. So
that's a whole conspiracy in itself.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, so everybody's like, why is Litecoin going up? Well, because it's been, I don't want to say suppressed, but it's been unacknowledged and untalked about for so long. And people are starting to look at, hey, wait a minute. I can actually hold this in my own possession, and I actually can use it. And it's been running for 11 years. And it's got all these other things. At some point, it has to find its true value against the rest of the crypto space. And it's not going to be regulated as a security. I mean, it's a safe place. It's a lighthouse in the midst of all the turmoil. And I think people are starting to realize that. And so it's going to go up in the dollar price. And it's going to keep going up in the dollar price. And of course it dips. And see, that's the good thing. See, when you're FOMOing at $83 and you're like, oh my God, I got to buy some Litecoins. Step back, control your emotions, wait for the pullback. And look, now it's $74. And then you can, buy it on the dip. Buy it on the dip. That's what you got to do. Control your emotions. Crypto teaches us to control our emotions. But I mean, in the big long term, it is a painful lesson. But in the big term, yes, you're going to see 4-digit Litecoin. Absolutely.
But you know what? You just have to remind yourself that it's money. It's for the future.
It's money they can't take from you. I mean, that right now.
And money is for the future. Remember, when we do our classes, when we travel, which I can't wait to get back on the road again. There is a link for our happy hour cups. Yes, in the description. You guys go ahead and please
buy one for Black Friday.
Black Friday. You can buy a red cup and support the channel and help us get to meetups. That's our goal. Oh, look! Holy cow! We've sold
there it is.
11.
11.
Awesome. Yes.
We need to be 17 by the end of the show. That's a signal. That's a sign.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
No, that supports the channel. It supports the show.
So then we've got, look, Benny, Benjamin Menendez Jr. bought one. Gloria bought one. Jimmy bought 2. Polly bought, Mark Weems bought 4 of them. Holy cow.
Whoa, dude, Mark. Love, brother.
I want to show Lisa and Clint how much I appreciate everything they do for our community. I want to support more meetups. Thanks, guys.
That's awesome.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, awesome.
Mark. That is so awesome.
Yeah, that's.
Jimmy bought 2. That's our Jim Montgomery. Polly P bought 1. Hector Gonzalez is Charlie G. And
yes.
Squad.
I was thinking of somebody else. Sorry.
And Daddy O was the first one to buy one. So you guys are awesome. Really appreciate that.
Hector Macho Camacho jumping in the ring.
You guys are awesome. So that is a huge support to us. But now I got all off on what I was talking about.
Tangential.
What were we talking about?
Be tangential with me.
You got me all flustered.
You got me all flustered and sidetracked again.
Mark Weems got me all flustered with his sweet comment.
Before, it's like, oh yeah, that too.
Well, that was so sweet.
Oh, what we got?
What were we talking about? Oh my gosh. You guys help me in the chat. Where were we?
There we go. Sorry.
Are you tweeting it up?
Yeah, I was doing this, and we got text messages coming in.
Everybody's like, wait a minute.
He just wants a piece of me. Oh, no. Well, what do you want to talk about? I guess that's the better thing. We were talking about days of the days.
Yeah, we were talking about days of the days. I wanted to talk about days of the days because I thought it was pretty cool that it's Black Friday. All this stuff's going on. We were talking about Litecoin. I was getting ready to pull up a Litecoin thing.
If we were to have a meetup in Florida, where would it be, hypothetically speaking?
It depends on if it's in January or in December.
Yeah, true. Yeah. If it's in July, let's make it like I don't know, New Jersey, Florida.
Well, and we may end up having it for Team Mighty. And have
a combo.
Yeah, that'd be cool to do the Team Mighty meetup down there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That would be.
I don't know.
You got to pull Bix Weir on the road again. See, that's the thing there. He's sheltered in right now.
I know a girl that has some pull with
Cincinnati would be good.
You know,
I like Cincinnati, but
I'm not going to Cincinnati in the winter.
Not in the winter. It'd be like a Summerfest or something.
Crazy. Yeah.
I am a little crazy. I'm wearing flip-flops and shorts right now, so yes, I am crazy. Yeah. And the temperature is 46 degrees.
Oh, I was sending some people Friendsgiving links to join us for Friendsgiving.
Proof of flop. To climb up on the bar stool.
Too. John Moore. You're just having your own party over there.
I am. I'm partying with myself. I'm like Billy Idol, man. I'm dancing with myself.
Don't start it with me.
Okay. Copyright infringement.
Yeah. Mark. Silver Jim says she would come to Florida. Jim says Florida.
You don't like Billy Idol? You got a problem with Billy Idol? You like Billy Idol? I like Billy Idol. Billy Idol's kind of cool. I would melt. You're right. Clint went full Mitch. Charlie G. Oh, man. I shouldn't sing on Happy Hour, should I?
Okay.
So what are we talking about?
You are a mess. That's what we're talking about. Okay.
About me being a mess. So how was Thanksgiving?
I didn't do a Thanksgiving. I was very sick. No. But we're going to have chili tomorrow.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of chili?
I make some
deer chili?
Awesome. No. I make awesome chili.
It's deer season.
And so my kids always like when I make chili. So then they come home and it makes me happy. So I make chili. So
what's the temperature there right now, Lisa? What's it going to be tomorrow?
I think it hadn't been bad. It's been in the 50s.
Okay. Well, it's a good chilly weather. Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're into like college football, like Daddy O, he loves Clemson. And if you're in,
he's trying to start a fight.
If you're into that kind of, I'm starting to fight. If you're into that, it's the perfect
season. He's gonna come through the screen at you.
I know he's gonna. It's just my way of getting him back here. You know, he's in person.
We love Daddy O.
Taunt him. No, he's a Gamecock fan. They had a great game last week. I mean, the upset somebody? Who was it? See, I don't follow it at all. I have no idea.
I don't know. I know that the FIFA has started, and that.
Did you watch the video? I haven't watched it yet.
I have not watched the video, and I will not watch the video. I'm not interested in watching the video, but I just know they tied. So I'm just
no. I mean the Netflix video, like where they expose them.
Oh yes,
yes.
I watched how corrupt FIFA is, and it's like, so they pay and do these trades, and then these presidents. There's like a whole another government inside FIFA, and they do these favors, and it's more payoffs. It's more like FTX. It's just FTX all over again. And that's what there's so much corruption.
You can't fathom
so many layers, and that's where, like, when we wonder why we're working so hard, and remember, that's what we were talking about. When we go to do our meetups and we teach people about cryptocurrency, and really money is our value, our store of our labor to be used at a later time. And so anything that's right now, and people are, freaking out about dollar go up or number go up, crypto number go up, number go down. It's for the future. We're storing our labor in something that we believe is safer, to be used at a later time. And so that is where, I don't know, it gets really, it does need to be exposed. And I think we've all known, a lot of us have known about the corruption, but it's coming out on mainstream stuff. Literally Netflix, Prime, all these video channels, the JP Morgan, the Epstein victims demanded that the JP Morgan, and there's my
notes.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey, did you watch the Globe of, what is the Globe of London or whatever it is, the Globe paper? Did you see what they had on that this week?
No.
With Chucky, Queen Charles on the cover? Oh, you didn't see that?
No. El Salvador's first national Bitcoin office opened today. So that's pretty significant.
El Salvador's buying what, 1 Bitcoin a day? The government?
1 Bitcoin a day, and their first national Bitcoin office. So this is their government is, calling this legal tender, which has ramifications all over the world. When one country chooses currency as their legal tender, then that affects the rest of the world. So Bitcoin is legal tender there.
Right, because they're supposed to honor everybody's national currency, because they're sovereign nations with their own sovereign monies, supposedly. You're supposed to be able to honor that. So if Bitcoin is part of that, then it's just an exchange of currency, right? It's just like going to the airport and pesos for dollars. Yeah.
This guy is a great guy. He's a patriot. He's brilliant, former Marine, or he is a Marine. I guess he's retired now, or however they say once a Marine, always a Marine. So I don't know how you're supposed to say that. But anyway, John Deaton.
Is that the Semper Fi thing?
Great man. And I've had the honor of speaking with him a few times through the very DAO. I did, however, have to mention, he was on USA Today, I think it was, and they were interviewing him about, hey, how do you feel about the fact that, where is it? That JP Morgan did their first like digital trade or digital swap or whatever. And it's like, well, and so he was doing XRP's side of it because he represents XRP holders in the SEC versus Ripple case. And so I was like, oh, that's wonderful. Meanwhile, let's remember that they all infringe on the elephant in the room, Veritasium, Reggie's IP. Coinbase is in serious trouble, and Reggie breaks this down.
He did that like 2 months ago, didn't he? He had a document he came out with.
A huge, if you go to Boom Bust blog, there's a huge report that goes into how insolvent Coinbase is unless Bitcoin is up. That Coinbase really is in trouble. And then he goes into the rehypothecation, and on this video with his kids, I'll show it. We'll play it. It's pretty good.
Do it.
Credit Suisse is in trouble.
Yep.
That's a big one. This was pretty awesome. They were talking about more of the FTX stuff. You guys, everybody's kind of heard this enough. This was a joke in the Very Dow room, and then they turned it into a tweet. So everybody wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. That little turkey.
Double G, hashtag 2G.
Yes.
He's not big enough for 5G. He's only 2G.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Epstein's accusers sue JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank for enabling notorious pedophile. So you don't get to turn your head the other way and say, oh, I didn't know pedophiles were using our banks.
Oh, they see, that's the thing with Bernie Madoff, JP Morgan. He only had one account, and it was with JP Morgan. I mean, they knew what he was doing the whole time. I mean, who was it? One bank got caught trafficking drugs. I can't even remember which one it was. I'm not going to name it because I can't remember the bank, but this has been, I don't know, 10 years ago. Paid a fine, done. I mean, they came outright and said it. It's like Barney Frank running prostitute boys out of his freaking DC condo, and it's just like, no big deal. Like,
well, Tucker Carlson. Here's how Main Street it is going, though. Tucker Carlson on, Fox.
Welcome to Tucker Carlson.
I don't know. Can you guys hear that?
Stable of so-called conspiracy theories.
Are you able to hear that?
Levels of politics and finance, there is a shadowy cabal of pedophiles who use their power to hide the crimes they commit against children. Yeah. That people think that. Sounds pretty far out to us, too dark and strange to be true. And of course, we are not obviously endorsing that idea. On the other hand, you can kind of see why people might believe it. Jeffrey Epstein, for example. Epstein continued to dine with business moguls and heads of state long after he was arrested for having sex with minors. How did he do that? Why did nobody say anything? Why did people keep eating with him? Well, at the very least, we can conclude based on the evidence that there is a tolerance for pedophilia among the most powerful in our society, a tolerance that you would not find in, say, your average middle-class American family. Some of the rich really are different that way. That's clearly true. And in case you needed more evidence of that, consider Balenciaga. Balenciaga is what they call a luxury brand. Balenciaga is a company that sells $1,100 sneakers and cotton sweatshirts for $1,500 to people who've literally run out of things to buy. You're probably not doing your back-to-school shopping at Balenciaga, but some people apparently are. So this week, Balenciaga rolled out a new ad campaign on Instagram, and the selling point of the ads was sex with children. One photograph showed a very young girl lying face down on a couch with candles, empty wine glasses, and a dog collar on a coffee table in front of her. Another picture showed the same girl, a toddler, holding a teddy bear dressed in sexual bondage gear, including a leather harness. And then, in case you missed the point, we're for pedophilia at Balenciaga. Another picture made it explicit. That picture showed pages from a Supreme Court opinion that struck down a law designed to fight child pornography. Whoever staged the photo shoot made certain to include a portion of that opinion that used the word sex or sexual 4 times. And of course, that was not an accident. Balenciaga wanted you to notice. So this seemed like a big story to us, as we told you last night. Here you have a major international retail brand promoting kiddie porn and sex with children, and not promoting it subtly, but right out in the open. No healthy society can tolerate that, and in fact, none ever have tolerated it. There's never been a time in American history where pedophilia was considered anything other than the worst thing, the most horrifying crime imaginable. Pedophiles famously get killed in prison because even murderers consider them immoral. That's how out of bounds it is and has always been to sexualize children. It's totally unacceptable.
Yes, it is.
You know what, though? This is nothing new. And so people that think that, oh my gosh, it's just we're living in the end times and this and that. And it's like, no. Human beings have always done that. And it's the people who rise to the top, the people who control things and want to keep you from rising and being free and holding you down with different mechanisms like unsound money and regulations and laws and all the things that you wonder why you can't get your head above water, why they keep pushing you down. See, this is why they do it, because this is what they're doing. They've always done this behind the scenes. They've done this in ancient Rome, Greece, anywhere that they have control. The people that have this thirst for control and just have to be there, see, that's the thing. I don't want to do anything. Hey, why don't you run for office? No, I don't want to. I can't. But there are people who that's what they're driven to do. Pelosi, I want to be there forever. Schumer, I want to be there forever. All these people that want to make that a part and have part of that power. Why are they doing it? Because they need to protect
for all the side deals.
Exactly. They need to insulate their behavior and protect their behavior within the structure so that you don't find out what they're doing. But they've been doing it since the beginning of humanity. The priests, at the top of the pyramids, all that garbage. See, they've been doing this forever. And now, I mean, they're so normal, and this is how society's collapsed, but they're so normalized or overturned. They're so normalized by it right now because their behavior, they've been raised this way. They've lived this way. They think it's fine. They think it's normal. So now it's slipping out. And then the normies are like, wait a minute. Did they just say what I think they said? Is this really happening? I asked my wife and daughter because, they're more on the mainstream side of things. They watch that stuff more. And I said, Balenciaga, you ever hear of that? And like, oh yeah, it's a big brand. All these rappers and all these different artists sing about it. And I'm like, okay, now all the pieces come together. When you put all that whole entertainment industry together with this, and I mean, it's all a corrupt elite system, and they're doing what they're doing it. And now they're coming out and showing you they're doing it.
Well, and when you say, so I've been sick as a dog this week. So I've been in my bed mostly, and I figured out how to get my TV to work in there. I've never been able to use it. We've been married 5 years and never used the TV in there. And so figured out how to use the TV because I was in there for the whole time all week.
There's the upside of the sickness.
And there's the weirdest commercials. They're like not really commercials. And they were saying like that Twitter's lost a bunch of all these, people that, they're going away from Twitter and Elon because, well, good riddance if that's, if those are the kind of things that want to be supported or those are the kind of things that are being promoted. But I was just showing you that video and they're saying, you're that uncle, you're that American, telling people the truth. You're that. And there's this one thing on. So I've been watching like normie TV because we don't have an Apple TV hooked up to that TV. It's just a smart TV.
Yeah.
So it's like what normal people watch.
What everybody else is brainwashed with and why we can't understand them anymore.
Yeah. And so
I'm
like,
you get it.
Wow, this is really weird, So I'm like watching it and there's this like the documentaries on there and whatever. And there's this one on there and it's like how my dad was brainwashed by the right or something. And they're talking about how like, they tied Fox News to all of it. And they were saying like how they used to be these nice people. They could come over and now they just can't even talk to them and they're violent and aggressive. And this one lady even said that like she went to her family's reunion and that she just said the name Obama and like her uncle brought out a gun and tried to shoot her or something. Like it was absurd.
Over the top stupid.
It was over the top stupid. Anyway, but then I saw the little video I just showed you where the guy's like, and they're like, you're that uncle, and they're saying like, oh, you scary conservative people, you aggressive conservative, you aggressive Christians.
Yeah. The ones that freed the slaves.
You get back in your place and stop. We've been telling you, political correctness and their feelings were more important than your rights for so long. And now you're standing up for yourself and they want you to shut up. So they've come out with this help talk sheet. It says like, one last item for your Thanksgiving, some talking points when that uncle comes at you about POTUS. And it's so ridiculous. So
sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh my gosh, yes. So these are President Biden's top accomplishments. This should be, remember on late night, and they would have like top 10.
The great Karnak. Karnak the Great,
No.
Johnny Carson. I see.
No, not Johnny Carson. I'm thinking of what's his name?
John DeLorean.
With the big teeth and the
David Letterman.
Hair. David Letterman. Yeah, the top 10. And it was hilarious. Anyway, these are hilarious.
Throw it and go like it was breaking.
Maybe we should go from the bottom to the top then and do the top 10. Anyway, so these are hilarious that they say these in case you need help, in case you need, some help to defend yourself. These are Biden's top accomplishments. These are just blatant lies and hilarious. So he was number one, tackling inflation and lowering costs. Gas prices are down $1.35 a gallon since June. And inflation is moderating.
It's coming down. See, it's getting better. See, it's all about perspective. See, let's not go past 6 months. Let's just focus on this window.
Gosh,
I mean, it's like looking at a crypto chart and saying, look, Litecoin's pumping. It's huge. And then you go back and you're like, oh, yeah, it was down to 40
in the last hour. Yeah.
You know, it's like looking at the daily chart as opposed to looking at the weekly chart or the monthly or the yearly. Right. I mean, it's just your perspective.
You can make numbers. This is where you can make stats or numbers look like anything you want them to. Unsnarling supply chains to lower the cost of goods. Saving Americans with hearing loss up to $3,000 on hearing aids. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Tackling junk fees that cost Americans billions, like surprise overdraft charges. I don't know what he's talking about. Probably something Trump passed and he's taking credit for. I don't know. He took on Big Pharma and won
a lot of money.
Isn't he in Big Pharma's pocket?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
He won. That's his point. He won.
Lowering prescription drug and healthcare costs. Wait a minute. Didn't Trump make was it epinephrine or no? What is it that the insulin down to like something very reasonable, and Biden reversed that?
I got news for you. The Mexicans got it figured out. They got cheap insulin. I mean, they know how to do it. We need to go to Mexico.
He's claiming that he capped insulin copays at $35 per prescription. You liar.
Oh, it's so stupid, isn't it?
Lie.
Really?
Yeah. Capping annual out of prescription drug costs at $2,000 for seniors on Medicare, lowering healthcare insurance premiums by $800 annually for Americans who buy insurance through the Affordable Care Act, which means that it went up $50 because it used to be $750 for the penalty if you went through
that. It's like when you shop at a store and you know what the prices are, and then they're like, hey, a big sale, and then they like mark it up to the retail and then drop it, and it's higher than what it normally is, but it's on sale.
I saved you this much.
I saved 40%.
Look how much money I saved us.
Look at Daddy O's comment. That's his last one about Black Friday. It's like, yeah, that's true. Oh, you can't. All right. No, his comment was, a real Black Friday sale would be to sell stuff at the prices before Biden was inaugurated. I mean, seriously, if you go back, I mean, go back and look at what the cost of gas was. Look at what the cost of everything was. We didn't have all this inflation. We didn't have all these prices and manipulated supply chain, artificial scarcity to prove an agenda. Anyway, prices.
Oh, here's a good one. He brought together Republicans and Democrats to pass the first meaningful gun safety legislation in nearly 30 years, removing firearms from dangerous individuals, expanding mental health services in schools. Isn't the suicide rate the highest it's ever been in teens and children right now?
It probably is.
It is. It is. There's more beds and beds needed now than ever before for teens.
Yeah, but that's I'm not going to say the word. That's because of the C word, though, because everything's that.
I don't care what it is.
C19.
That's not expanding mental health services for school.
I mean, it's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. You're living in an illusion. You're living in a fiction. You're living in an artificial reality.
Here's more lies. Then they're lying about the Republicans now, that the Republicans are proposing a national ban on abortion and trying to put Medicare and Social Security on the chopping block.
How are they going to get a national ban on abortion if they don't even have one of the houses right now, one of the branches of government?
No one's trying to do a national ban. None of the Republicans are trying to do a national ban on any of it that I'm aware of.
It's all fear porn.
It's all to go back to the states to be decided at a state level.
That's all Roe v. Wade said. It's like, hey, you know what? The national government shouldn't really be involved in this. The states take care of it. And everybody's like, oh, we didn't do anything. Nobody did anything other than put it in the place where it should have been in the first place. I mean, you don't want to get into, okay, where does life begin and what is murder? Because at that point, that's a whole other can of worms that, you don't want to deal with. You better just be happy to keep it at the state level. And then you can have like the abortion factory here in Illinois because of the corruption that goes on here. I mean,
the lies are just incredible.
But if you watch the news and they, in the mainstream news, they and they come on with and and then sponsored by Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and others. And, they give a 2-minute commercial of all the great things. And then they have to read that, the beautiful imagery. They're hopping through the parks and, it feels so great. I'm going to Thanksgiving and picnics. And then you listen to everything that's going on. But I may get carried out in a gurney. I might get, and it's just, but you look at who sponsors the news, it's all about the money. Just follow the money. And so the narrative, it goes full circle. We had Dr. Fauci, whatever Batman character he is, he retired, right? And he said, make sure you get your pricks, everybody.
Yeah.
What was he handing out self-autographed pictures or something? Get your prick?
I don't know. Pricks for everyone.
It's just, at what point do people wake up and say that this is just, it's just an illusion? It's theater, is it not? I mean, when you
I think at the same time, it's pretty exciting that there are people waking up. Though I was talking to Public on Wednesday night.
I missed it.
The whole Derek Johnson thing. People are really starting to find out about Derek Johnson. And
who's that? Is he like a football player?
So he's the kid. It's the same stuff so I've been sending stuff to Jean-Claude and Snippy, and I'd send it to Uncle Cliff, and I'll send stuff to Uncle Cliff or to Bix or.
Then they go and make a video on that material.
It's okay. That's all right. I don't
But that's
mind.
good.
I'm glad that
you're seeding the growth of the new forest.
Yes, I'm glad that they do.
You're this floral goddess. That's when I first met you. I was just like this floral goddess that came out of the nature, and
it's okay.
There she is.
And actually, Snippy, me, JC, and Bix are going to do a video on JC's channel on December 1st. So that'll be fun. About
they all come around to your ideas eventually, don't they? Isn't that the funny thing?
Yeah, they say I'm crazy first.
At first, they're like, nah. And then
they're like, Lisa, that's
next thing you know, they make a week's worth of videos based on what you.
And then they're like, oh yeah, remember when Lisa was saying that they were making those? They were probably going to get all that silver, and they're making coins and keeping them at the mint, and they're going to release them later. Oh, yeah, now.
Yeah, the machines are already in place. Yeah.
And the machines are already in place. Oh, and remember when Lisa was talking about the NDAA last year around Christmas? Oh, yeah. And that military thing was already in place. Oh, yeah. That's okay. It's all right.
Let's have a round table.
I feel like Utsava. You know how she's always like, I said it first. Maybe the universe is talking to all of us, and we're all hearing the same thing. So I think that's a blessing.
They're following me around.
But yeah, I think it's
They're
awesome.
Here right now.
Yeah,
looking at the windows.
I'm just grateful to be around these wonderful people that I respect so much, and being able to share the information that I come across and that people send me. Like it's not like I'm some oracle, or I find it all by myself. My husband sends me stuff. I have friends that send me stuff.
We're all helping each other.
Somebody's sending me.
People
on my Patreon send me stuff.
I'm just here to talk crap about everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
And drink a lot of whiskey.
We all have our part.
Yeah, I'm playing my role. I love to see that Bix Weir in his top 5. You got to go watch it on YouTube. His top 5 things that he would hold right now. One of the big ones. What is it? Well, it's silver.
It has to be very.
No, it's silver.
Theta.
It's
very silver.
Yeah. And Litecoin.
Very silver, theta. Yeah, of course, Litecoin. Very silver, theta, Litecoin, and Amy.
It was, oh God, that's perfect. He effed up. He should have said Amy.
He should have.
You should be hodling Amy. I'm telling you. If you're going to hodl anything, you should hodl Amy. Yeah, this is a top 5.12 things.
Top 5 things to hodl.
Yes, definitely. Well, silver was kind of broken into 2. It was like, this type of silver and that type of silver. And then he went to crypto, Theta, Litecoin, very. Amy's assumed, though. We all know that he hodls Amy. So.
Yeah, Amy's off the table.
Yeah, you can't.
Not non-negotiable.
That's
hodl.
Exactly right. Next time I see her, I'm going to give her a big hug, though.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see her for sure. So we're doing the book club still. I missed Monday because I was so terribly sick, but I get sick like once a year, and when I get sick, I'm like,
did you take your horse paste?
I did not have, but I had
I
had a fenbendazole, which is an
like horse paste, kind
alternative
of
that
like donkey
Uncle
paste.
Cliff had told us about that are pills, and that really turned me around quickly.
It's good. What do you think about? I mean, you think about why does that work? Why does the horse paste work? And because what's it fight? I give it to my
parasites.
dogs. Right, I give it to my dogs every month because I'm like, they're out in the yard and getting into stuff, and who knows what they're getting into. So for human beings, it works too. And you think, okay, so if it's killing parasites, what's getting into our bodies? I mean, how's it getting in there? And then you look at the food supply, and then you think, what's really in these? Go watch Died Suddenly. Did you watch that yet?
No, I don't want to watch that.
Go watch it.
I don't think I can watch it.
Well, you got to go watch it. Mitch, you watched it.
Yeah, I did.
Rough.
Disgusting.
Rough. It's one of those things. Once you see it, it hits you at a deep level. You already know this stuff. We already know this stuff, but
I think I already know it. There's certain like I'm already at a place with some things. Like I had like a meeting with my little energy healer person this morning, and she's like, you don't have to.
Right. We don't need it. We're already there.
Like you're in a fight and you've already have knowledge of a lot of things. You don't have to re-look at everything. Like the Balenciaga thing
ruined my evening.
Upsets me.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay, I need to be that warrior, and I need to go fight that fight. And, I have all these years of being a foster mom and being in that world. And then I get into all these conversations, and
that's what I'm here for.
And she's like, you're not being there for those children by not looking at the horrors of all of that. You're not disavowing that by not looking at that all with your own eyes or taking that into your mind. Because I do know what is there.
Right.
I've been exposed to it.
Yeah.
My own children have been exposed to it.
Yeah.
I've read things and experienced things that a lot of people have not.
Well, and see, that's the thing. You're already at a different level. I mean, you don't need to be awakened. I mean, on the woke term, I hate that they steal that, but that's what they do. They're stealers.
Yeah.
So awakened, we are awakened. And so if you're awakened, you really don't need that. I don't mind going to the dark side a little bit and looking at things, how bad they are, just because I want to see, because I know people need to wake up. And if it's a tool that I can use to wake people up, I'm going to use it.
Sure.
And so it's just, and I'm not, nothing shocks me. I'm just, anyway. It's a movie that if you have any doubts about what has happened, you need to go watch it. You need to take a look at it, and you need to see what real people are saying. It's just like, that's what it comes from. It comes from the grassroots. It's like, hey, we started seeing this and we didn't know why. And then we started putting pieces together, talking to each other at a grassroots level, decentralized, instead of centralized message. And they put together a puzzle, and they're like, holy crap, this is scary. What has happened to us and what's been done to us? And it's an important movie if you're not awake, and it's just, it'll shock you awake.
I do think that, and that's where the education is out there. If you need to see, if you want to see, if you need the information, if you are unsure of any information, if you're lacking information, it's all out there for you to see. But I can still be effective with the knowledge that I have moving forward.
Right. You don't need to do it.
I don't need to revisit a lot of that stuff for me to still be effective in fighting for kids and families.
You know what? I think you might be thinking it's something that it isn't, though. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, but I do have it linked on my website just because it's hard to find. If you go out to
look in the description.
Yep. And if you just go to clintwestwood.net, and then under the red pill section where I've got videos listed, that's the wake up call. It's in there if you want to watch it.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really amazing videos out right now. Speaking of red pills.
Speaking of red pills, look who's
Happy Friendsgiving.
Happy Friendsgiving, guys. How are you both?
How are you doing?
Good.
Thank you. I've been watching the whole show. I just had the little one with me. I couldn't Couldn't jump in earlier. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We're good. We're just.
So I got one question for you. I've been looking into this a little bit. You know, is the ice wall real?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Leave it at
the
that.
Ice walls are real.
If you know, you know, right?
It's biblical. It goes back. It's explained.
It's in Game of Thrones.
You guys both know the conspiracy loving of me. I think there are several movies, several television shows put out there over the years since
they put
the
it out there.
1960s that are factual documentaries that say like, hey, that's part of their karmic law, right? You have to put it out there, and then that removes the karma from them, because then they can say, hey, we told them. They don't, they're too stupid to figure out, because we're just the stupid knuckle draggers.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
But yes, I totally think if you look at when Admiral Byrd was out there, they tried to circumnavigate the border of Antarctica. They got to something like some incredible amount of miles that was way over what it was supposed to be, and they still never reached another end of it, which would make sense if it was the flat Earth. There's a wall around it. It's continual. It's
hard to get your head around it. I've been
Sure.
looking into it just because
It's in like Ohio or something back in. There's this guy. I think it's on Prime. There's another. When I was sick, I watched a lot of TV.
What else did you have to do?
Oh my gosh. Ancient Destruction or Ancient something.
Hey.
Oh gosh. I'll have to get Charlie to tell me the name of the video or the name of the thing. I don't know. Bring his ashtray, somebody.
And then this cigar. I got this.
Name of Ancient.
Bring his ashtray, somebody. I'm trying to be all silent and secret. She's like, yeah. Bring
Get it here.
And hi to Rice and Economic Ninja.
The Ninja, Rice are in the chat. I mean, we got some
in the chat.
It's
Rice,
high
what's
profile
up,
in here
brother?
tonight, man.
Mr.
We
X,
got some
Tom,
big dogs in the chat.
Silver Jim,
JB Rants.
High-end,
I've
JB
been watching
Rants.
and reading the whole time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got a bunch of G-Chin, Mark Weems. We saw Mark was so sweet. Mark bought 4 cups for Christmas.
Oh, wow. That's so nice.
It was super cool to support the channel. Mitch's Motivational Monday. Be inspired.
Be inspired.
Check out his YouTube channel.
Yes. Linked on my website.
Sean's here.
Satoshi Sean?
I sent Sean a link too.
Holy cow. We start talking about flat earth stuff and look what happens. Jeez,
See, there it is. I was just looking this up. There's this group I'm part of on Facebook. It's this one here.
But dude, what about telescopes? I mean, you see all these planets that are way out there and all this stuff. I mean, you telling me that's
NASA shows people floating around at the space station, and then all of a sudden a green screen blinks.
I've seen the mice running on the freaking space. No, that's BS. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, you can look at the stuff that they give you, and I'm like, I'm not real sure about that stuff.
Something's not adding up there.
No, something's not right. But I mean, to be like a dome. I mean, floating out, and I don't know.
What was the cartoon that I sent you guys? That I said, they made a cartoon about us. Do I get? Here it is.
Oh, I watched
the Inside Job.
Why does this lighter not work? Because God's telling me, don't light that cigar.
So he's barely aged today. How old are these photos? And who are all these women? Hollywood immortals?
The Illuminati spread their message using the charisma of actors.
I have it on its side. It's not working.
They found a way to keep them alive so their star power never dies.
Hollywood's leading men are making themselves immortal using the blood of young women. They're all hundreds of years old.
Every ageless leading man is one of them. Nicolas Cage, Brad Pitt, Larry David, and the most bloodthirsty of them all, Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's why they all date 19-year-old models who we never see again for their blood.
I have to go to my next cleanup job. Someone on the
Anyway, it's like season 2 just came out, and it says this girl's name is Reagan, and it says lizard people real ? The moon landing fake. Managing the world's conspiracies as a full-time job for an awkward genius and her dysfunctional coworkers. So I think I'm the awkward genius and you guys are my dysfunctional coworkers, but I'm not sure.
No, I don't work. I'm not working. I refuse. I'm done.
You got the dysfunction right. So.
I'm just guy in the back. I'm like, let's talk about it. I don't know. It could be true. Let's discuss over a little bourbon.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm like the Friar Truck because I'm drinking so much. Friar Tuck of conspiracy theories.
I like it. Check out that Facebook group I showed you. They post things on there that is original things that it's crazy. Did you ever see the one?
Got your popcorn?
Get your popcorn.
Gotcha. I have a little kitty bowl of popcorn right here, kettle corn. I'm just nibbling on it away. So, did you ever see the experiment that they did? Not like an official experiment, people, where they take a laser beam and they shoot it across like a 40-something mile frozen lake. The lake is flat, right? The lake should be flat, right?
Yeah.
But at that point, at that amount of distance, there should be X amount of feet of curvature to deal with. So the laser, they literally find the laser 2 inches above the ground on the other side of the lake. Lasers don't curve. Ice doesn't curve. Just saying.
I don't know. Uncle Cliff says
That's
that we live in a round.
Cliff
world,
said,
so.
you know, if you believe Cliff, I mean, he's saying no. You
He
guys
says
are full
it's
of
a
crap,
round
and
world.
I'll prove it to anybody that it's
Because
the
of
globe.
his
So I don't know.
days from being on the boat.
I have no idea.
But then I've heard it's more like football shaped.
Well, yeah, it's a flat. The Bible calls it a flat plane that does have a slight curve to it. It's not perfectly flat, obviously. There is a slight, you know, like a contact lens or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't either. I mean, things that lead me to believe that something needs to be questioned there. Just like, guys, if we knew 5-6 years ago the things we know now about how the world really operates, and somebody just started throwing that all at us then in the beginning, we would have been, no way.
It's like y'all nuts.
No way. This is crazy. I'm just saying I keep my mind open and I write nothing off because nothing at this point in my life is out of the question.
And we know that they've been lying to us. That's the only thing we do know.
Well, see, that's the only thing is because you get to a certain point and you realize they've lied to you about everything and you start questioning everything.
Yeah.
Okay, if they're telling me this, I'm kind of contrarian in my thinking that maybe not. So anyway, I don't know. I knew that would get you going.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I'm all jacked up on facts.
I know, right?
Or they must be facts because I read it on the internet, right?
The interwebs.
The interwebs.
And the more they try to discredit somebody, because remember in the 60s when they did those congressional hearings about Project Mockingbird and all that, and they were like, yeah, if we can't do enough disinformation, distraction and disinformation, then we discredit the 3Ds. Sure. And that was the CIA. That's like in public. There's recordings of this. They admit it. This is if you don't play along with the narrative, then they use distraction, disinformation, and then they discredit someone. And
because that's all they got left.
Yeah, there's this guy.
And then they death you.
So it sounds like lies, and lies.
They disappear you. Yeah.
Yeah, disappear.
Yeah, the fourth D. That's the worst
the fourth D. Then so there's this guy, and I was asking Charlie to maybe he can think of it. But there's this guy, and he's like talking about how these anthropologists are like they don't want to even acknowledge the stars, and because they want to write the narrative about what history was and how old the Earth is and all this. But then if you go back and if you bring the two together, kind of like a functional medicine doctor, where if you look at the whole body instead of like, oh no, I'm the cardiologist, I'm
a
the
holistic doctor is the whole body.
Hey, your heart's messed up. Well, there's a reason because there's all this other stuff to contribute to it.
There you go.
And so if you would look at it from the whole thing, and so they totally discredit this guy and they call him like a pseudoscientist and a pseudo archaeologist or pseudo anthropologist. I can't remember. And he's like, what does that even mean? And they won't let him even into some of these historic locations, like that serpent mound is that in Ohio? I think
there's a lot of mounds. There's mounds in Illinois. There's mounds in Ohio along the river valleys.
So he was explaining
with
how
the giants buried in them, right?
Well, a lot of the mounds are like the way he was
in the shape. Ohio
it,
is the one where it's in the shape of a serpent.
of the snake. So when that lines up, the mouth of it is like eats the summer solstice sun. And a lot of them line up to the moons, and the waves of the snake line up to the different equinoxes of the sun or the moons or whatever.
Solstice, equinox, all that.
Yeah.
Seasons.
And those mounds, they were talking about the Indians would use the mounds, and the way these mounds were like lined up perfectly, geometrically north and south and all this, and the different heights of them, and how, if you stand on this mound, then the shade of it, it would help them tell them, the different moons and the different times so it helped them read the stars. And that
it's a marker.
I got into it with your dad, but
Stonehenge, the pyramids,
about reading the stars in the sky. And so this is the thing. When the slaves, however you want to believe, whatever. Okay. To not get too deep in the woods on this topic, but to keep someone trapped, they did not want the slaves being able to read, write, or have knowledge. They wanted them dumb to be able to have a sense of control over them. Why would we not think that? And I believe religion has been skewed. And when I separate religion from my relationship with God through Jesus Christ, to me, those are two different things. The institution
of religion, the institutionalized religion.
The corporate part of it,
Right.
But I think I think there's good people in it, but I also think there have been dark actors that have manipulated those tools to control people and to keep us from knowing how to read and write and to know all the messages from the universe and to know our true power and our true strengths, and to know, like, if you could read and you didn't know what reading was and somebody read in front of you, you'd be like, oh, they could do magic.
Right.
That would be a form of magic.
It's magical. Because
it's magical to read because you've never seen it before. If somebody can read the stars and then something they said to you was right, they're magic.
Well, you've
what
heard
if
the
it's
story
just,
they know that there's an eclipse coming.
No, it's just that's the stars.
Right, but if you know an eclipse is coming, ahead of time.
Columbus story. You've heard that.
Magic if you can predict it. Hey,
what's the Columbus
Earth is going to go dark.
So Christopher Columbus was looking for some supplies and food to put on his ships here in America to go back to the old world, to the long boat journey. They were low on supplies. They didn't have enough. So basically they went to the natives who were in the land and said, listen, we need supplies. And they're like, no, we only have enough for the winter. We don't have extra. And he's like, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to have my God block out the moon in 4 days or something, 5 days, whatever it was. And then they're like, no way. He's like, my God is so much more powerful than yours. I will have him give you a sign. And then if you don't give me food then or supplies then we will crush the land or something like this. And sure enough, because they knew how the stars and everything, they have and then the lunar eclipse happened. The moon was blocked out. They were so scared the following day. They loaded up his boats with like half their winter supply and then off they went.
So my thought is, if they used religion to tell us, you know what, you are evil, you're a bad person, you're against God. If you look at the stars or if you do these things, it means you're a bad Christian. You don't love God. If you try to read the stars, the messages he has for you, you're evil. We want you to be, if we are kept in the dark from knowledge on purpose. Do you see what I'm saying?
You're evil.
Well, look at the.
But it's been. I could see that it could be manipulated to control us and to keep. And then if that could be released, if we could all be freed from that and just be shown, like if we could all of a sudden know how to read a book, it's not that we are stupid. it's that the information has been withheld from us. We're
Absolutely.
capable of so much, but it has purposefully been hidden from us or been kept from us, whether by guilt, manipulation, whatever forms of control.
Well,
A good
of course,
example.
because you look at the Latin
Yeah.
in the Catholic Church, and then
Mhm.
then you've got a printing press, and then all the masses understand. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so this is what it says. They've been telling me this. They've been telling me I need to go back there and do what I worship my
Mhm.
master, and then
Original
now,
sin.
then they,
Original
yeah,
sin.
then they see the light, and then
Mhm.
they're like, wait a minute, I'm reading the original text in my own language, in my own tongue. And it's like, oh, so this is what it says. And boom, break from the Catholic Church.
Right.
It's just like the money nowadays. It's like if you knew how the
Yes.
money worked, you'd walk away from it because they're just hiding it from you and saying, well, it's inflation. We got to fight inflation.
Yeah.
Money
You
is
guys created
enslaving
this
all of
mess,
us.
and now
Yeah.
you're taking it away, so it's making it even harder for us to live. And I mean, it's like there's just nothing but manipulation because they are the high priests, and that's what it comes
100%.
down to. They are the high priests. That's what they are. There's these people at the top that want to control everybody else because
Mhm.
they're a bunch of sinners. They're a bunch of corrupt people that want to do whatever they want, manipulate.
Don't
whoever they
worship the
want,
same
appease-
God anyway.
Exactly. The inversion of who we are, and
Right.
that's what they do. And so it's the same, repeated over and over again. All we're doing is changing the set on the stage. That's all we're doing. And so you got to wake up. And that's why I always say, every time I make a freaking video, I say, trust yourself. Trust yourself. They are no better than you are. You better trust yourself and understand that you're part of something greater. And these people are nothing but shills, cardboard cutouts, fake, garbage, vampires. That's all they are. Dead, and they just want your energy. Otherwise, they don't live. So don't give them the energy. Hollywood. That would not exist if we didn't give it our energy. There's a bunch of
100%.
phonies.
Yeah.
Nothings.
Absolutely.
And yet we continue to do it.
So,
Oh my
Lisa,
God.
you mentioned if the information was out there, especially about some of the religious stuff. I watched something. I don't know. It might have been Rice's show with Ethan Lucas, one of those shows, and
Mhm.
they were explaining that the famous
Those are great. You
painting-
can grab them
they're
usually
great.
on Sundays,
Yeah.
Sunday afternoons. They're really great conversations. Yeah.
He puts everything in layman's terms so that anybody can
Mhm.
understand, the exactly what he's saying. But it was either that or another one. I watched the show on it. So the famous painting of the Last Supper, the 12 apostles, this and that. So 12 apostles represent the 12 zodiac signs.
Oh, okay.
And Jesus is in the middle. Jesus, it all comes back around. This is
Sun.
Exactly. The sun,
the sun of God, the sun in the sky.
There
Oh,
you
wow.
go.
Yes.
Clint knows it.
And then you look at what December 21st, 2nd is. It's when the earth dies, because it's darkness, 3 days of darkness almost, where it just, the sun is at its lowest position and then it resurrects.
Mhm.
I mean, there's all this symbolism.
The story of
it's right in
Jesus
your
dying.
face.
Yeah. The story
really
of
is.
Jesus
It's right
being
in your face.
crucified. Absolutely. Dying for 3 days, like he just said, resurrecting back to life. These are celestial calendars. The stories of religion, so many of them are literally based on the facts of how the stars and our solar system works.
It's trying to teach us.
Yeah.
Teach us through symbolism.
And then they lied, and then they
anthropomorphism.
smeared it, and then no, you guys can't look at this. You're going to go straight to hell, you original sinners.
Right.
No, because they're hiding this information from us.
That's the thing that I think I'm like, okay, don't. And they try to do it with shame, distraction, the discrediting, and that's where I was like, oh, don't tell me that I'm shameful for looking or asking questions. You're never wrong to ask a question. You're never wrong to be learning. Everybody should be asking questions. That's why we're in this situation. We need to be asking more and more questions.
You should
about
ask
what's going
questions.
on.
You should question everything. Because if you question everything and don't get a good answer, then why do you believe what they're telling you? You should get a good answer, or at least an I don't know. Let's figure it out together. You should get a good answer. You should ask questions. The thing is, and I've had it happen many times, I've questioned authorities and just completely shut you down because that's what they do. They're protecting an established order. They're protecting their lair, their place in this hierarchy. You got to trust yourself. And I'll tell you what, you're going to get more information if you just can find a way to remember your dreams. Ask questions before you go to sleep, and you'll come back with more information that these shills, these vampire shills, are ever going to give you.
They say like, yes, keep a journal, but keep it like by your bed so
Right
that
there.
when you get up, before you like even put your feet on the ground, like before you really wake up fully, like you can just, while you're still sleepy and whatever, just grab your journal, and while you're still like
and just
still
free write
be
it.
in that state, and just like, what am I thinking about? What was I talking about?
It goes away so fast, doesn't it?
I know it.
Yeah.
Those are my best times, like when I'm really missing Mia and I ask her to come back and stuff, and then I'll have like those moments where I get to hold her and I can really feel like the weight of her, and I can smell her hair and feel her close to me. And then it's like, right before I wake up, I'm like, oh no, okay. And I know I can feel like the world pulling at me, like you start hearing the world, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay asleep.
And you know what, Lisa, your whole day is affected by that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it impacts you at such a deep level that whole day when you're awake, you're getting over it, in the real world, trying to process it because you were connected to it for real in the dream at a spiritual level. I mean, it affects your whole day. I've had the dreams, and I mean, you have dreams, but you have certain ones where you're like, wow, okay, that brought back a lot, and I'm getting over that in reality here because I'm still there. And it's you gotta trust yourself. You got it all right here. I think it's
really wonderful. I think they're wonderful gifts. When she comes to visit, or I get my dad. I had the cutest dream. This has been a couple months, but my mom and I were and Charlie and I were in the front, and my mom was in the back, and we were like driving. We were going through to the woods, and there's like this little cabin, and we're looking for like a lake house in their cabin in the woods or something. And then I was like, oh, it has all this moss. And I don't know, I was worried about decorating it or whatever. And Mom like jumps out of the car, and she's like, kind of like a poodle skirt kind of thing. And she's like this young girl. She's like, I can't wait. I'm going to go see my boyfriend. And she's like skipping, running off into the woods. And I know she's going to see my dad. And right after he died, he came to me in a dream and showed me himself, like he's kind of in his, like how I saw him in his uniform, but a little bit older. He was maybe in his like late 20s or early 30s, like where he's all muscled up and, but a young man, and he was showing me like himself, because I never knew him like that. I didn't meet him till he was almost 50 or something when he and my mom, I mean, I knew him for a long time before that, but he was my mom's boss, and I never even thought anything about him, But so for him to like come show me himself, and so then I knew that's who she was running to go see, Anyway, Sean, do you ever have dreams like that?
Sean is here.
Satoshi Sean, brother.
Stashoshi Sean.
Welcome to Happy Hour.
Yeah, this is a pretty busy night, man. You got Miss Teen Crypto and Rice. I heard.
I know.
Yeah, Economic Ninja. Hitters. Nana's here.
TPA's here. Nana. Yeah, dreams are weird, because I was thinking as you were talking that they can be used to dismiss like otherworldly phenomenon, as well as explain and connect to it. Like if let's say you meet a spirit, like or something, then the next day people can tell you, it was just a dream.
Yeah.
But then if you're like, I had this profound vision in my dream, they're like, yeah, it's just a dream. It's people use it both ways. But yeah, some of the trippiest stuff that ever happened to me, it was the night after my grandmother died, my Nana. And then the night after my uncle died. I was really super close to both of them. My uncle was my Uncle Ted, who I named Ted after. He was like, my father figure growing up. And he passed away. I was 16. And I swear he came to me that night. My Nana was the same thing. I just knew she had died. I was 4. And I was awake and I heard footsteps coming down the hall in the middle of the night. Scared the crap out of me. I just buried my face. And my mom told me it was just a dream. The exact same thing happened the night my uncle died.
But it's not just a dream. I mean, I think that's pretty common. That's a theme. A lot of times they'll say that people, when they pass, will go and visit their loved ones before they cross over.
Wouldn't you? I mean, think about who you are now, and if you leave this planet or leave this body, I should say.
Yeah,
wouldn't
if
you
I
do
was
it?
not going to
I'd
be,
do it.
Yeah,
I'd be like, hey, I'd be stomping. I'd be
I'll see
doing
on
whatever I could.
Yeah, I'll see you on the other side. But I'd probably want to go say bye.
You always say that's a way, like people that have passed in your family and loved ones, like that's the connection, is that subconscious realm that connects, where they're at to where we're at. And I've been really jealous of people who, like in there was like a support group I'm with, was in for, parents that have lost their kids. And I would get really jealous because they're, oh yeah, like once a month, my kid comes and we hang out. And it's happened to me like once or twice. And it is really profound. It's very weird.
Sean, have you, I just, out of my own experience. So when my grandmother passed, I had this like overwhelming urge to sing to her, and my mom and I and my aunt were there, and I felt like that brought my sister there to maybe help my aunt or my grandmother pass. And when my dad passed away, he like had the hardest time leaving. Of course, everybody nobody was supposed to be there, and then one by one, everybody came home, which made it like drag out to be like the world's longest week, and it was something out of a movie. It was totally chaotic, but then it was like we're all there, and he was like, we're all in the room, and he was like, it's time, it was the right time. And I just was like, put that song on. There's a song, and I had my husband put this song on just really soft. So it was just like, but I think about how we are frequency, we are energy. And it helped. Once my little brother said, hey, put this other song on, because my little brother is the bridge between me and my bigger brothers that we don't always jive sometimes. And so once we were all in the same frequency using a song, that's when my dad was really at peace. And that's when he left. And I wonder if something like that would be helpful, if a song or some way to be in tune, or a frequency, whether it's, and you guys have a lot of family movies. Movie night is really important with you guys. I wonder if it would be a movie or a song or something like that, where like a frequency where everybody's having the same energy exchange would make it easier for energy to move.
I don't know.
Sounds like it. Why not, right? Church, meditation, old church, when actually the churches and the cathedrals were pulling down the ether, and the monks with their
bowls
their tones
and
and their
bells.
bowls.
Even the windows.
Talking about us, or we're talking about music, and how there was a conscious change over the last
between the 4, 3, 5 and 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
which was put in place by the church. The church.
Yeah, I was talking to my Asian son Sebastian. They all rolled their eyes at me because they thought, "Oh, it's crazy." But there was like this university of music, like this, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like this institution that changed the basic frequency of like the way music is played.
It was the church.
It was a church, and it went from like,
but it went into colleges and stuff.
Yes,
and then
they mandated that
it's standard, and it was made to all notes were aligned in like harmony with like the same vibrations in nature,
Yes.
The
and this
megahertz.
changed it,
And then they
to where
switched it to
wasn't.
take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Where
didn't
it
they
was
do that
weird,
with
I
the
remember now.
television too?
They switched it
the
to
flicker
where it was
rates?
more
100%.
control of the vibrations in the mind
Mm-hmm.
that could influence the mind.
Those were the
versus
healing
the ones that
energies
were in nature.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. They switched it from, what was it, 440 to 436 or vice versa, whatever it was.
432.
Yeah, whatever those numbers were, it always was. All the instruments were tuned to the old one. And when you used to hear the music, you used to feel it. It would affect you. And now it's different. So if you listen to music, you can find it on YouTube where music is tuned to the old way. You feel it. It's an experience rather than just some sound in your ears.
Well, I talked to Tom Patterson about that because I was just we're doing a show. There, the guys over at Consent of the Governed, and I said, because they were musicians way ahead of their time. They were like doing songs about banks and everything, like before 2008. And really good album. They're on Spotify. But anyway, he was talking about. I said there's just like no soul left in it, like the music now. It's not just auto tune and all that. It's just like empty. It's not real. There's nothing. There's no substance to it anymore. And he started talking about like the mechanics of it, like that. How they did some other changes, like in the 80s or late 70s.
Yeah.
Which went way over my head. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is before I even knew about this stuff that we're talking about recently. But yeah, he had told me a lot of stuff about that, and we're just talking about how there's no substance anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always been bubblegum pop, teeny bopper trash, but now there's hardly anything. That's what we're talking about. Tom McDonald. It's like it's weird to connect to that this music, but it's it's singing from the heart, and it's his new albums they just put out was it Renegade and Revolution. It's so sad, but I'm thinking, man, I wonder if he's going to get arrested for just saying the things that he's saying. Which is
He's out there with what he's saying. I every time I see something pop up on social media with him on it, I'm like,
I feel terrible that thought enters my mind, that a musician just singing about something.
Breaking news: $165 million in Bitcoin linked to Mt. Gox suddenly moves as quant analyst issues warning.
Well, who had control of it?
Sorry to bring us into.
Who's controlling it though?
Well, one of the largest holders of Bitcoin is in the world.
Government.
The NSA.
U.S.
Yeah, the United States government.
Well,
I totally
some brand, or I should say, some aspect of government, some leg, some branch of government, down there in the root.
Rice just texted me and said that it's ancient apocalypse with Graham Hancock was the thing that I was looking for, was the show that I was trying to talk to you guys about all the mounds and where they have tried to, there's this narrative and they've come in and destroyed tremendous amounts of ancient history in the Americas. A lot of it's been done by the Smithsonian. You guys have heard the stories of them hauling off giant bones into the, dumping them in the oceans, all this kind of stuff. We have had, if you go to all these other countries, there's, buildings that are, they come to America and they're like, well, look, these houses are less than 100 years old, and we have no history. It's been destroyed on purpose.
What was it? Tartaria. That's what I was trying to think of.
Tartaria, the mud floods. Yeah. Absolutely. Look into that.
I was watching
Chimney Rock
show the other night. It was the new Bumper in Berlin. It's a really good show. It's really hilarious. I like Flula. He's funny. Anyway, It's like a Pitch Perfect movie. So this guy goes over to Berlin because he was a TikTok, had like a real big TikTok video, and this guy's like, "Come to Berlin and I'll make you a star." So he goes over there and he comes like, "This is the office and it's really old." And he's like, "Man, this place ancient. This building must be like 100 years old." And having grown up in Europe, it's like funny because there's that's not old at all. That's like a new building, 100 years old. I remember I was on a tour. I think it was Neuschwanstein or something. But it was a tour guide from Philly, and I like I'd met them in the group, and I was like, "Oh, cool, you're American, blah blah. I love Philly." Blah, blah, blah. And the tour guide was like, they went and talked to the tour guide there, and they were like, "Man, I talk for." I give tours and of our our history. It's like 150 years old, and it's nothing. You're talking about stuff that's thousands of years old, and it's right here. You like have it. There was a loaf of bread that was like 900 years old or something. They had like under glass. I mean, there was just it's just weird how what we think of as like old history is like nothing to the rest of the world.
Nothing. Yep. It was erased. It was taken out. They say about the World's Fairs, a lot of them were put on some of these ancient grounds, and some of these buildings. That's where the term whitewashing came from. They would spray this newly spray paint was a new thing, and they would spray these buildings to make them look new again. But there were new buildings mixed in with old buildings. The buildings, we've all seen the buildings with the 20, 30-foot doorways with a doorknob is,
no way we could reach
14 feet up in the air. Who is it? Just, are they really going to go through all that work just to make some fancy door?
Right. Who would do that now? I mean, why would you do that?
Especially like in the Middle East, there's, but there's practical things like weapons and things that have, and you can see they've been used. You don't have an 8-foot sword that's, or 7-foot sword that's been used in battle.
Yeah.
That wasn't wielded by a, huge human being. But then you get into the whole thing about the Nephilim and all that. And what the excuses they give to dismiss it, they're just so dumb. It's like you have to want to believe it because it's just dumb. I mean,
sure.
The Indiana Jones Temple of Doom thing, that's like a real place. And everything in there is huge.
That's what, Petra? Isn't that where that's at?
Yeah, Petra. That's
Isn't that what it was? Yeah, Petra.
The doorways are huge.
Yeah, you
the
look at it,
furniture is carved in stone. It's massive. And it's like, oh, it's just fun.
Yeah, we just did that for
that's not fun,
weekend.
That's not fun. That's not like an amusement park. That was
Especially back then. It's like, what are you using?
Yeah, it's a big deal, man. And then there's so many statues where there's 3 normal people, or like the
giant
king,
head,
and then there's a guy who's 3 times as tall next to him. And they'll try to explain it away, but it's like everything, in some of these historical texts say this guy was 12 feet tall.
Oh, that's just a myth. Dismiss that.
Yeah,
it's a myth. History. Just read it. It's like a storybook.
Literally, you have to want to believe that.
Real.
You have to want to believe it. There's just too much.
Right.
Proof the other way.
Sure. Well, didn't the and we all know how reliable the Smithsonian is, but didn't they, or the History Channel or somebody just put out a statement that scientists have done all this digging into Chimney Rock, and they actually are confirming that it is actually an old ancient tree, which hundreds of feet tall stump. That's what is it? 5 miles around or something like that? Which goes right back to the mud floods, which goes right back to God sending the angels to chop down the trees so that the Nephilim couldn't climb up the trees and survive the great floods.
Oh, okay.
So
they did.
It's like they give you a little bit, but it ties into
or
something
whatever. But they went and they found the roots of the tree.
Yeah.
Of these petrified trees. That's what those are.
12 miles, 20-mile root system underneath that's perfectly preserved.
It's incredible. And that is what is all coming for us. That's where we're so close. It's all right there.
It's all going to break on Twitter live.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
they're
it's
letting some of the banned accounts back on. I'm hoping to get Awakening Public
next
back.
week. It's all of them are coming back next week.
Let's see.
We're going to bring them all back. Bring them back.
I don't know. My husband's going to have like 10 accounts.
I know. It's like, which one do I log into? Lord Almighty, help me.
He's been kicked off of Twitter so many times.
Yep.
I don't even know. I just would love to get my original, my very first YouTube back, because I have videos on there that I did not save. It was back before I thought that I would ever get kicked off. So I have like videos of my foster care work and interviews with people from doing my foster care work and stuff with Mia and the adoption, and like really old stuff that I would love to have, that before I knew about censorship and all this kind of stuff.
General question, guys: when Trump got his Twitter back, did he have all his followers reinstated also, or did he have
quite
to?
a few?
No, I don't think so.
Hang on.
I don't think anyone did. Because when I looked, he had like a million or 2 million or something.
Okay,
it was a lot.
What did he have before?
You know,
he finally got up to
million?
like 80 something million, or I think he got up to like 80 something million.
Yeah, it's 87.7 million right now. I don't know what it was when he first came back.
Yeah, I think when I looked,
reinstated.
It was like between 1 and 3.
The storm is upon us.
Facts.
How can it not be? I mean, really, look around. We're right in. I mean, holy cow! What a time to be alive! What a time to be participating in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What kind of storm, anyway? A shit storm? Sure.
Could be any kind of storm. There's a storm somewhere, everywhere, right?
Yeah, there's always some kind of storm going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's crazy stuff. Well, I love you guys. I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I am thankful for our crypto community. I'm thankful for the truth. We watched another great show to watch. If you're get some friends together, because it's $20. It's either it's like $20 if you buy it, or 25 if you buy it, or 20 if you rent it. So just go ahead and buy it. But Black Adam, which Adam, ADAM, maybe, and I may have heard this on Rice's channel, and him and Ethan talking about, may have been referring to Atom, ATOM. And creation. I'm not.
It's like one of Ted's favorite superheroes. He was very excited.
Okay, Black Adam. The movie's amazing, and I'm not like a big fan of that kind of stuff, really. But they had some really amazing points. It really reflects the time that we're in right now, and I love the way that they portray the hero in this, because it's not about the hero coming to save the people. It's about that the people are free, and the people are the ones that need to save the people. And he brings up some great points. There's another point in there where I don't want to run the movie for you guys. I mean, this won't run the movie, but he says this thing where like the justice team comes in to this country and they're like, we're here to save you. And the people are like, where have you been? We've had these horrible people like basically bullying our people, and we've been living in this horrible situation for so long, and now all of a sudden the guy we think is our savior here, you want to come fight him? Get the hell out of here.
It's like the end of
sounds very familiar.
Peacemaker, where
dude, I don't watch any other.
I want to give you spoilers, kind of movies, but it's like they're all battered, torn, destroyed. They're walking away from the smoldering mess, and then Superman, the Flash, Wonder Woman, and Batman are in the field, and they got there, and they're like, "You guys are fucking late, assholes."
Oh,
and then
no, this isn't even that. It's like,
yeah, I know.
Get out of here.
It was like, because
it's more, Sean. It's more like what you and I talk about, where you're like, this is not your land. What are you doing here? You have no authority here. No one asked you to be here. Get out. It's inappropriate that you're here.
Go back to the ice.
Hey,
the ice
hey, America.
I watched a video.
Why do you think you get to be the police of the world?
About a guy in Wyoming who got pulled over, and he gave them his passport. He's like, I don't need a driver's license. he said, I'm not traveling or something. It was
I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
Yeah, or
is
something. But he gave him the passport, and they wouldn't give him the passport back. And they're like, "Get out of the car, man. We just want to talk to you." He's like, "Why do you want me to get out of the car? I'm not getting out of my car.
They
This is
know
my
why
private."
they want him to
He
get
was like,
out of
"This
the
is
car.
my house, or this is my private property. I'm in here. You can't come in here without a warrant. That's
Yeah.
my passport." And he's like, "I'm not going to talk to you, cop." And then the sheriff's deputy came, and he's like, "You tried to talk to him," and the guy was like, "Just come out. We just want you to come out. Look, I'm gonna break your window. I'm gonna beat your shit out of you and pull you out." I mean, he's very upfront. And he's like, "No, I'm going to shoot you if you do that." That blew me away. He said, "We're going to have a gunfight if you try to do that."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you threaten me? What?" And he's like, "Yeah, just use your brain. If you try to do that, we're going to have a gunfight. Give me my passport back." And they're like, "We're not going to give you your passport." He's like, "You're stealing my passport?" I'm just saying.
Because there are things that we concede to.
But then the sheriff came.
That we've all conceded to that we don't have to.
They went and huddled up. And he was like talking to the camera. Sheriff came over and said, "Here's your passport."
Yep.
Yeah.
Take care.
Hopefully the constitutional sheriffs actually know how that stuff works, but I doubt the guys walking the beat, the guys writing the tickets, I don't think they know how that works. You're absolutely right.
The thing, and me and Lisa, this is like months and months ago. She was like, gotta back the blue, gotta or back police. I was like, I don't back the police. And she was so shocked. And she's like, "What? So you're like a Floydian or whatever?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I support law enforcement. I don't believe all women, and I don't just support the police. That's a cult. If you blindly back or follow anything, that's a cult. But someone who enforces the law and follows the Constitution, 100% back them. I would stand next to him and die. And remember what you said? You said, "Isn't that the same thing?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No." And when I explained it, you're like, "You're totally right."
Yeah.
And
I just had never, it's that same thing. We concede, we consent to so much that we have been misled, and the fog, the haze of, oh, it's kind of mostly the same thing. Well,
there's also
sign here and
there's these two schools of thought, because you have someone out there who's like, "Hey, give me your driver's license." Like, "No, I'm not. I don't have to give you my driver's license." And most all conservatives are like, "Hey, man, the guy's just doing his job. Just give him your driver's license. Why are you being difficult? You're an asshole, and you're starting everything."
Or here's the thing with the argument. Let's put it in cryptocurrency. The argument with CBDC. If you're doing nothing wrong,
what do you have to hide?
What do you have to hide?
And that's the next step. The first part is, "Hey, man, just be polite and just don't." But dude, they shouldn't be asking for it. It's
right.
It's not. And they're like, "I'm going to arrest you for failure to ID," and they're like, "No, that's a secondary charge. You can only do that if I'm in trouble for something else. But since I'm not in trouble for anything else, you can't ask me for my ID." And you can't.
See, this is where everybody's confused. They think the police officer is the law and enforces the law. No, the court system. And see, that's it. They can say, "Well, I'm going to charge you with this. I'm going to charge you with that." The thing is, it gets discharged when you go in the court. I mean, just because they say something to you doesn't mean it's true. I mean, get in front of the judge. Don't say anything. That's why, there's this video out there that I put out usually every Friday, where it's like there's two lawyers. It's like, it's "Shut the F up Friday." What do you do when a police officer pulls you over? Shut the F up. When they ask you a question, shut the F up. And it's like, just shut up. Don't say anything. They're not your friends. They want to engage you and get you to talk. And the next thing it leads to something else. Next thing you know, you let the vampire into your car. They find something. Oh, this, that. And it's like, oh, well, look what we found. No.
And I watched a lawyer say this.
Are you charging me with anything?
He said, it's not that you're being a dick, but there's nothing good that can come from you talking to the police.
Nope.
Even if you're not in trouble, everything that could happen, everything that is said could be used. I mean, they have to say that could be used against you. There's literally nothing good that can come out of it.
Seriously, you need to say, "I can't talk to you without my lawyer present. Am I being charged with anything?"
Which that's been stigmatized. That's been stigmatized. that you're an asshole, that you're in the wrong for doing that, and that you're hiding something. But I think it needs to be flipped, and police need to start saying, "Hey, man, this is wrong. It's wrong for us to push you for that, and to just know people's rights." And we've talked about this 100 times. That most, I'd say half of the soldiers, at least, I would say 80%. I would say 80% because I live by the biggest post, and I grew up around the military. I would say 75 to 80% of people in the military don't know what the Constitution says, but they've put their life and sworn their life to uphold it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is for cops. I would think it'd be higher in the military, but I know that most probably don't know the full Constitution that they've sworn to uphold.
Mm-hmm.
And see, Sean,
that they should have to every 2 years.
Exactly. You got to renew your teaching certificate. You got to renew your hairstyling certificate. You got to renew all this bullshit. This is my biggest thing, and this is what gets me in trouble, and this is why I don't talk about it too much, but you're dead on. It's like, all right, at what point do the police officers, the military say, well, I'm serving my country. I'm following orders. Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. We went through Nuremberg trials. We went through this before. Have you not learned your history? You need to say no. Hey, you know what? You got to do this because, it's part of our system. It's mandatory. You got to take this in the arm. You got to do this, follow this order, shoot that civilian. No, just say no. Go to prison. Go to the stockade.
That's something I hadn't thought of, Clint.
Stop giving them the power.
I hope that Musk does this because, he's been teasing about making certain things public. And I don't know if you remember, but if you were to use the words you just used that trial, you would get flagged.
Yeah.
That wasn't allowed to be said or brought up.
But everybody signed on to it. Every country signed on to it and agreed with it because it was wrong. And you have people, and see, that's the thing. I mean, might does not make right. That's why we have a republic. That's why we have a constitution. Just because you have bigger guns does not mean you are the best. Doesn't mean survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is a myth by Darwin that says that, because, you're better, you're this. No, we're here to protect the weakest people. That's what a real civilization does. A real society does. You protect the weakest among us. And look at who has gotten exploited more than anybody else, the weakest among us. The people who are not educated, the people who are children. And at some point, as people of authority, you got to stand up and say, no, F you. No, I'm not going to follow orders. I don't care what you've got, what kind of brass you've got on you. No, I'm not following orders. No.
Orders aren't
I'm
laws.
not going to protect
Mandates
the
aren't
president
laws.
It's changed over, and that's another thing, that their mandates aren't laws, but the people that are making the mandates or making laws, that's against the Constitution.
I know. And so the people protecting those people shouldn't protect them anymore.
Greg, we talked about this on the World Blockchain Roundtable because Greg from Rivet he's an attorney, and like with the ATF is a government agency that no one has been elected, by the people, and they're making arbitrary, crazy rules where they're saying, hey, this piece of metal is a machine gun, you can't buy it. It's not a machine gun, it's just a little piece of metal or piece of plastic.
Right.
And they're able to make laws and enforce them on citizens when they're not elected, they're not part of Congress. And then Greg explained
what do? They all they want is an agreement, a payout, a deal. And it's like, no, take me to court. I want to have a court of law where we can get the truth out. No, but most people are like, hey, I got $1 billion. I'll give you $1.5 million.
But that's the thing where the SEC is refusing to give guidance when you're asking for it, but then also swatting people and, putting in
unlimited money, unlimited abuse. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Meanwhile, check their.
But also, like you were saying, just because
schedule.
you have the might doesn't mean you're right. I think it's switched now to what Ricky Gervais has said. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's.
I'm offended by a lot of stuff every day, but you know what? I get through the day.
I don't understand how people have lost sight of things that I realized were good when I was 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, I realized that racists were awesome because they could talk. You just let them talk. Any crazy people, if you let them talk, you don't have to argue.
Right.
They,
Let
they
them
won't
have their
hang
free
themselves.
speech
They
because
say
they're
the
going to make an
crazy
idiot
shit.
out of themselves.
And I don't understand why people can't see these basic things, man.
Television is very, very powerful. The stupid box is the stupid box for a reason, man. They are controlled. I mean, you don't question, you don't think, you do what you're told, you do what's programmed into your head. It's not just told, it's the frequencies that Clint was talking about, the flicker rates, the mind.
I watched this
whatever you want to call it.
This interview that Theo Vaughn, who's awesome, as a comedian, he did with Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that this just came out that there's 7 million men that are able to work, but they're not even searching for work. Yeah. And that now this information came from those 7 million men. They did these surveys that they are not looking for work, and they spend. It was like how many? It was 100 some of hours, but it basically worked out to like 38 hours a day or a week, on screens. So it's literally a full-time job. And I'm
watching videos
of it too. And if you just put your phone down, you can feel the pull. You can feel the antsiness a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just it's right next to you. You know where it is. It's there, but
that brings up
vibrate. Did I see it?
Elon tweeted out, and it was it Friday? I don't know. It was some time in the last few days. He said something about we need to work on the endorphin response on Twitter. And it was probably a psychological thing because I read it. And this bot that's a Twitter bot of his says, yes, I can handle that, or I can do that, or something like that. And then I noticed, plus I was sick as a dog. Like
Mr. Paperclip guy who used to jump up on the word.
No,
Can I help you with that?
No, I don't know what it was. I know what you're talking about, but it was some kind of bot that was responding to Elon's tweet. And it said, I can help you with that. And I think they did. I don't know. Have you guys noticed? I would be curious to know what everybody thought in the chat. And if you're watching this later, comment below, like, have you noticed less of a pull of engagement on Twitter specifically? Have you noticed less of a, are you spending less time on Twitter or engaging or tweeting, or
yes,
less of a pull?
Yes.
I have.
That's not true. You weren't on Twitter before.
That's why I'm spending less time on it. But even now, I'm not on it like I was. But
in the last couple days,
when I switched to Instagram, when I switched to that's really all I use in Instagram. I'm not on TikTok or anything, but there's been a lot of information put out there for quite some time that TikTok, Instagram, they use different mind control technologies, frequencies that raise your pulse rate, that keep you up, that keep you glued to the screen. Mm-hmm. They certainly mess with you. Some of the psychics will call it dark technology or alien technology. I know, Sean, there is no dark technology. There's technology. It's how it's used. But these are implemented within the social media platforms to keep you glued to their screens. Absolutely. Keep swiping, keep flicking, keep looking.
All right, here's an example. You go to the bathroom, you sit down, and you realize, I forgot my phone. And you're traumatized.
Now, do I get up or do you just go real quick?
Now what do I do?
Do not take the phone.
You know what? You brought me back to what I was talking about.
That's what I'm
so Mike Rowe and Theo Vaughn were talking about that. They were talking about how the 7 million guys spend all the time on the screen. And they both started talking about taking a crap. And you grab your phone and like you will lose track of time. And he's like, and they both said, hey, I lose the feeling in my legs. And they're like, yeah, like you stand up and you fall over.
Because you've been sitting so long.
And I was like, yeah. He goes,
so I'm sitting longer than my body needs me to sit.
Mike Rose said that. He's like, I am really a busy guy. He said, I have this foundation that I give money, for people to go to trade school. I have 5 television shows that I'm doing right now. He goes, I have all this stuff going on. And I sat for 20 some minutes on the toilet looking at TikTok videos of people getting hit in the face with like pie and whatnot.
It's like, and he was already done 10
up.
minutes ago.
And he was like, yeah. And this is the scary thing, though. Mike Rowe, I think, is the most like grittiest, real, one of the most real people in Hollywood. Same with Theo Vaughn. That's why he moved to Tennessee. And they both said, when does the government step in and help us with this? This is obviously, because and then Mike said this thing about like libertarianism, that you have different people who have different experiences. So marijuana, everyone has different experiences, different life, different reactions. He said, but when you get to like fentanyl, everyone has the same experience. Everyone's dangerous. It's just bad. And he said, so you have to. He was talking about like prohibition and all. You have to step back, and the government shouldn't be involved until you get to a certain level. And they were talking about like, how are we at that level with, with social media, with just screens in general. But honestly, if we are,
no, I get it, but I mean, it's like government's not going to fix it though because it's corrupt. I mean, do we need an intervention?
That's what I was
yeah,
saying.
probably.
Wouldn't the government? Wouldn't you not trust the government to help that and more?
No, they're going to exacerbate it. They're going to increase it, And so it's like, yeah, at some point, as a species, as humanity, we need to look at each other and say, hey, we got to step back from this because it's it's at another level. It's like, hey, you're snorting coke up your nose. It ain't smoking dope anymore. You hit a different level. And it's just that, yeah, you're right. But what has happened is we've become so accustomed to, hey, the government needs to fix this. Well, why do they say that? Because, well, most of my energy goes to the government, in the form of our, money. And so they should fix this. Hey, there's a can in my ditch. I'm not going to pick it up because I'm paying somebody at the county level through my property taxes. They should pick it up. Why am I doing it? I'm paying somebody else to do it. Just like going to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, you drop a napkin on the floor. You're like, I ain't picking that up. That's the waitress's job. And it's like, but dude, at some point you need to take responsibility for yourself. And once you start doing that, you start taking responsibility for yourself at multiple levels. So that's a small example.
And once you realize,
just let it go and let somebody else control
that
your life.
napkin on the floor affects your life. That's the problem. That people think that napkin on the floor doesn't cost them.
Right.
They think it's someone else's problem.
Everything gets
but
built
when
into
you
the
realize,
system,
that there is a cost to you, that because you didn't pick up your own napkin, your dinner costs more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Understand there's
You
a
still
cost
pay
to
for
everything. There's a cost to every action you take and don't take. There's a cost to everything. And once you understand that, then you start maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe I should leave things better than I found them. And if you do, I love the background there, public. But that's what it comes down to. It's like, that's a simple truth in life. Leave it better than you found it. If we all did that, we'd live in a great world.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me on Friendsgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And I hope everybody in the chat has a great Thanksgiving. There are links in the description to reach all of my friends here. I've got Satoshi Sean's information, Public's information, and Westwood's information in there, as well as some other friends that I thought might stop by. And a link in the description for our happy hour bread tumbler. So remembering everyone deployed,
get you
bread on Friday, get you one, get to a meetup. We're going to have a great time, either December or January. We're figuring it out, but be ready, have the cup so that you get in free to the next meetup, and we will see you guys there. Take care. Love one
y'all.
another.